Safety leadership for field engineers. How to influence job site safety in construction. This video is my jam because those of us who grew up at companies where there were field engineers, we learned about safety in the field engineering position. And it's a mix of awkward, meaning you're this young punk kid, and a mix of awesomeness because you're working with crews that you love. And it's this time to like develop some bravery and like really go out there and get it done. And so I'm going to talk to you about how a field engineer can affect safety, because I always talk about field engineers helping with frontline quality and frontline safety. So this is just the way I think, so I'm going to draw it like that. I apologize. But let's say that you have job site trailers. Field engineers are great at keeping track of the inner office items like your AED, making sure that it's inspected, keeping track of fire extinguishers. I remember my first general superintendent put me in charge of that. I was great at it. I would keep them charged, inspected, order more. Safety supplies. Probably don't let me order safety glasses. I'll get carried away. But I'm just kidding. Help under the direction of the supers and PM with the emergency response plan, with any other standard documentation, the right to know area, SDSs, like the overall office safety items are a great task for a field engineer to be in charge of. I love it. Now the basics of OSHA 10 and OSHA 30 in the United States, when that field engineer goes out, like we are making sure that the basics are implemented. That means everybody on the site should be wearing their hard hats and safety glasses. They should be wearing their vests. They should have their proper clothing, have the right work boots, gloves when necessary, the whole nine. And I want to make this point. Field engineers and area superintendents or assistant superintendents are out safety presence in the field. In fact, I remember a time before I moved on to do other things, but at Hensel Phelps, where on projects they said they wanted a calendar with your safety presence in the field, and they would time block when they knew folks would be out and about, so there was never a time when a project delivery team member wasn't out on the job site, and if they saw a gap, they were like, woo, we can't do that. We got to make sure that we have safety presence in the field, and they would identify that, so there was always somebody out there. A field engineer is great for safety presence in the field. The other thing is it's very easy for field engineers to look at things like handrail and make sure that that's in place, that people are using proper tie-off points, that we have proper safety signage throughout the building. And basically what I'm looking at is like, we're going to be looking at falls, trips, caught between, equipment, electrocution, so they can watch for lockout tagout programs. I mean, anything there and above. So not only are they watching from a supportive standpoint, the on-site team and humans, but we're also looking at the environment, and we're looking at processes, and we're looking at systems, okay? And so a field engineer should be OSHA 10, OSHA 30 trained, and when they're out there doing their walk, they see something, they do something. They see it, they fix it. They see it, they act, okay? The best way that I've seen this done, there's a couple different ways. They need to get the training, okay? But the other thing is they need to be part of field walks with the supers and sometimes with the safety professionals for training purposes. Through training and field walks, you can teach the field engineers to start to see the key items that we want them to see and be our eyes in the field. And I remember reading a book called Building the Empire State, and I think the lead superintendent's name was J.W. Bowser. Oh yeah, I think I got that right. And he had runners. Like, it was such a big project, he couldn't be everywhere, especially back in those days. And they didn't have drones. So they're your eyes and ears in the field. And we've got to teach these field engineers to be strong when it comes to safety in the field. And I'll tell you why. The biggest mistake in construction is weak supers. We cannot have weak supers that are wimpy when it comes to cleanliness, wimpy when it comes to safety, wimpy when it comes to organization. And if we wire a field engineer's brain this way from day one, they will be wired and they will be on top of it when they're a superintendent when it matters. And they will learn to not tolerate it. So the best thing we can do is get field engineers out there helping us to do what they're capable of doing to enforce remind and coach and hold the line for safety. I'm going to put this into a blog post for us in the description below. It will become a chapter in our book, Elevating Construction Field Engineers, and there's a huge section in chapter 2 of the Field Engineering Methods Manual that you will love, that will take you through a step-by-step list. Chapter 2 is probably my favorite chapter of that whole book. I hope you've loved this video. On we go.